Welcome to my video of some quick notes about the definitive edition of the first Mafia game. Now, what I like to do in these videos is just kind of give like a brief tip of the iceberg, high level kind of review of any game that I have played. And as the title suggests, I'm going to be talking about Mafia 1, the definitive edition. So with these types of videos, I also like to try to give some context about the game, how I experienced it, where I experienced it, and where I'm coming from. So the context of this game is I bought actually the definitive edition of Mafia 1 through 3. I think it was some sort of humble bundle or something like that, and I bet you I paid like maybe 20 bucks for it, if even that. I honestly don't remember, but this was actually the first time that I have ever played any of the Mafia games. I have not touched the original Mafia games. I have not touched any of the definitive editions. This is literally me diving in head first for the first time. So I kind of have a bittersweet relationship with this game. First, I'm going to talk about the fun stuff, the good stuff, and then we'll kind of dive into what I didn't really like about the game. So, first and foremost, probably the story was what kept me going throughout this whole experience. Just kind of the cinematics of the game, the situations, the characters, and the story to me kind of felt like any other Mafia story that I kind of envision in my head, so to speak. And it's like, start off as someone who is working an honest job and then gets into crime because, lo and behold, it pays better, but there's a higher risk, obviously. But you get to play that risk and be very successful at it for X amount of time, and then it all kind of crumbles apart. But how the story proceeds and just kind of getting to know the characters and how they interact, and it was just a fun time to experience what was going on in this world. Next, probably the most entertaining mechanic for me in the whole game was the shootouts that happened between you and other Mafia families, between you and the police. Just the shootouts in general were a lot of fun to experience and be a part of. One thing of note for the shootouts specifically, I understand that the shooting kind of changed, or even the game itself, this might be an overarching idea, the game itself is different in very specific ways from the original compared to the definitive edition. That's what I understand from doing a little bit of research about this game before I did this video. So from what I understand, the shooting feels a bit updated and newer in this game, and even like kind of maybe a different direction in what it's supposed to feel like. The original, from what I understand, was supposed to kind of feel like, oh, like you're always like down to a couple bullets and like you gotta inch your way around corners to be able to take out the bad guys. Well, the ammo thing was still kind of a concern. I was swapping gun types a lot, picking up ammo off of the ground, which isn't a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it just kind of felt almost a little generic at times, perhaps. But it was still fun. It was still cool to have, you know, the quote-unquote Tommy gun, I forget the real name for it, and be able to play with that, play with shotguns, pistols, kind of like the old school revolver kind of thing. It was just a lot of fun to experience those guns and play with them and just see what they had to offer. There were other activities that happened throughout the story. My kind of gripe with that, though, is that it would happen, like some of the fun stuff would happen only once, and then it wouldn't happen again. For example, early in your Mafia career, if you want to put it that way, you start off, you know, collecting protection money from stores and businesses and all that kind of thing. You do it once for like 2 businesses, and that's it. Like, the first business goes off easy, there's no issues. Second one, I don't exactly remember if they like decided to run or just run into the back and you had to chase them down and convince them to give you the money. I don't remember the specifics about it, but After that, it never happened again. And to be honest, I don't know if it could happen in the world, like if you could go into a business and get protection money once the world kind of opened up a little bit and let you do what you want with the main objective wherever. But the game didn't really tell you if it was an option or not, which that is definitely, it's definitely an option that it could have been on me not either acknowledging it or just not being aware of it, but I wasn't aware if I could do something like that again. Another example of like a fun thing that happened but only once was you had to step in for a race, and again, again, I understand that in the original game, this race was super frustrating. In the definitive edition, maybe not so much. Maybe a little annoying at parts, but kind of once you got the hang of what you were doing, it wasn't terrible. I definitely had to retry the mission a couple times, but again, I only did it like once or I only did it once. I kind of would have wanted to do it again, maybe later in the story or as a way to earn some extra money. And if I could do that again, the game didn't really seem to acknowledge it at all. Moving on from there, my biggest gripe with the game itself was kind of really just the tedium of it. And there's one specific activity that was just extremely tedious throughout the whole game, and that was driving. To some extent, it felt like a driving simulator where you're just in the car driving either yourself or you and a couple of Mafia buddies to a different location. You go do a small part of the mission, and then as part of that mission progresses, you have to drive back or whatever, or drive to a different location. And between when you were driving and the activity that you would do at whatever location, that was usually entertaining enough or different enough. But when you hop back in the car, it was just really kind of boring and really hard to ignore that as a flaw. Now, granted, they did try to throw in some stuff, so it's not like it was dead silent the whole time, which would have been super awkward. But they would kind of try to get into a little bit and like a little bit of the characters some more, just kind of them chatting about random stuff sometimes or what it had to do with the mission, and they would just react to stuff, and it was fine. But then after like maybe a minute or two of them talking, it was then just silent. And then it was just you driving to the other side of the map because that's where the mission marker told you to go. And so it was just kind of a lot of like, okay, great, now I have to drive again kind of thing. Or, oh wow, I had this really cool shootout. Oh, now I get to hop in a car and drive across the map because one of my guys got hit and I have to take him to the doctor. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird thing that I wish I could have just avoided altogether, or just skipped over, or I don't know if they could have made it more entertaining. But anywho, that's really just my biggest gripe with the game itself. And with that being said, as I kind of wrap up this video, that's just kind of some quick thoughts, some notes about the game itself and just how I felt about it. Overall, it's not a bad game, but you can definitely tell that since it is a remaster of a game, the game does maybe show its age a little bit with some of the mechanics and just some of the stuff you do. It just kind of seems on par with early 2000s gaming, if you want to put it that way. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments whether you love this game. Feel free to hit me up. If you hated this game as well, feel free to hit me up. Did you just play the original game? Have you only played the definitive edition? Let me know with anything and everything down in the comments below. Hitting the like button would be a big help, and if you liked what you saw/heard in the video, consider subscribing so you know when I post not a TikTok, post a YouTube short, post a new video, or when I go and stream. Right now I'm playing Dark Souls 2, and it is a riot, to say the least. Anywho, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.
I ain't heard a thing, fellas. There, come on, fight us!
in the dirt. We ain't clear yet. Keep driving. Poor bastards digging the road for the works program aren't gonna thank us for this.
3 crates down. How many motors were at the exchange?
4, 5 maybe? Knowing him, he's called for more.
Sure feels like it.
Next time, we take more muscle. We should have expected trouble. When the boss hears about this, there'll be hell to pay.